Namaskar. Welcome to one more episode of Peep Deep TV. We very interesting guest who is a geopolitical analyst and a senior journalist, Mr. Siddhartha Dave. He is a friend of mine for a long time. We are going to discuss and analyze, in fact, dissect the yesterday's or day for yesterday's podcast done with our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji. Welcome, Mr. Siddharth.
வணக்கம் அண்ணா, எப்படி இருக்கீங்க? நல்லா இருக்கா?
வணக்கம், நல்லா இருக்கேன்.
It's always
உங்களை
pleasure.
சந்திக்கிறது ரொம்ப மகிழ்ச்சி.
ஆமா.
For me also, pleasure is ours.
Yeah, it's pleasure to interact with you in Tamil.
For a long time we have been met, but we have been in touch.
Yeah. And the other day I was watching your video on
Yes.
language debate. And I think to start with, though, this discussion is not on the language, but you rightly analyzed. But as a polyglot, I love learning languages. Padikren Tamil,
Yes.
Tiripi, no repetition of the language. So it is going away. But maybe I got an opportunity to speak a few words, few lines here and there. So thank you for that, and look forward for a wonderful rendezvous with you on the topic.
Yes. Yesterday, actually, I watched the whole episode. It was very actually soothing. Very good. Normally, what happens is actually these podcasters or the journalists, when they come, they get into a very adversarial mode and start asking all nonsense. And that's why actually Modi ji, the local journalist, actually, he has not been talking to such because they were driven by some agenda fixed by somebody that has happened for the last 15-20 years. Now actually it was very heartening that somebody who has come on this and brought out many things from Modi's the horse's mouth, in fact. And I would like to first know about your initial response or initial thoughts about the yesterday's podcast. Before that, I would just like to show some picture that is of the Modi ji's hometown. This is the Vadnagar, where he was born in northern Gujarat. You yourself a Gujarati, and Modi was very proud of that place because this is a place where he was born, and lot of archaeological works.
True.
Even when he was a school-going child.
Yes.
Yeah, you can share your thought on this. Is Vadnagar.
Yeah, since Nagarjana, since you mentioned about Vadnagar, I have a very strong connection with Vadnagar. This is my maternal ancestral place. We still have my maternal grandfather's house, which is almost 300 plus years old. And my mother was born in Vadnagar. And yes, and the second very interesting thing, when 2014 Modi ji was sworn in as the Prime Minister, a lot of documentaries were made, a lot of interviews happened about Vadnagar. And one of the personality who was interviewed very often was Dr. Sudhir Joshi. And it was told that he is his childhood friend. Now, Dr. Sudhir Joshi is no more, but he happens to me, my Pitaji's real Masa. That is my father's Masi, as in, how should I say that in English? Masi is...
Mausi.
Mausi, yeah. So he's my father's real Masa, the direct Masa. That's Dr. Sudhir Joshi. So obviously this has a very strong connection. I have grown praying obedience to this temple, the temple that you're showing, that is Hatkeshwar temple. And it is very interesting. I'll share one more interesting thing here, Nagarajanji. The last meeting that we had, me and my wife, Captain Meera, had with the Prime Minister Modi ji was on 26th of July 2024. Occasion was 5 years of Kargil Vijay. Location was the Kargil War Memorial, Dras. Time was sometime around 8:30, 9 o'clock. And after paying the homage, after paying the homage, he was, turning from, after paying the homage, he was turning and going towards the hut of remembrance in Kargil. This is in Dras War
Ah,
Memorial.
ah.
And both of
Dot
us,
sector. Yes, I know that.
me and my wife, both of us, Captain Meera, I don't know why, but from our mouth, we uttered together, Jai Hatkesh. And Modi just turned around
Ah,
and
ah,
looked at us. And then we had a little bit of chat afterwards when he was interacting with the public. So Hatkeshwar is the Lord, or that's a Shankar god. And ever since
yes.
my childhood, I've been praying. Every time I used to go and meet my maternal grandfather, in Gujarati we call Nanaji. In Hindi also
Oh,
we call Nanaji. So every time we used
no,
to
no,
go to our
yes.
Nanaji place, he used to take us to the Hatkeshwar temple very often.
Oh, great.
So have fond memories of the Hatkeshwar temple which he shared, and the
Ah,
Tanariri aspect. And there is a very big lake which has been, I mean, during my childhood it was in a very dilapidated condition, but since past 5-10 years it's been renovated. We call it Sharmishtha Lake. It's a very very
acha,
interesting place to visit. Yeah, but anyway, this is not a talk on Vadnagar. But listening to Modi ji speak about his childhood days, about Vadnagar, it made me very much nostalgic about my moments which I've spent in Vadnagar too. And my mother
oh,
always,
great.
whenever we are in difficult situation of life, she would always say
Uh-huh.
in Gujarati,
Uh,
it's in colloquial Gujarati, but I'll say it in English, that
uh,
you have
uh,
had the water of Sharmishtha Lake, so there is a power
uh-huh.
in you which is
Uh,
there. So face the
mm,
challenges of life, rise and face the
uh,
challenges.
uh-huh.
So this is
No,
what
the same sentiments actually in Tamil also they say, ஊர் தண்ணி குடிச்சிருக்கேன். தண்ணி இஸ் வாட்டர். அந்த
water.
ஊர்
Ama,
தண்ணி
ama,
குடிச்சவையா, தஞ்சாவூர் தண்ணி குடிச்சவையா நான் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி in Tamil
ama.
they say actually with proudly. Oh, so it
Very
was
true.
very interesting. And Modiji told that then one of his teachers used to ask him to collect the what do you call that some
Mm,
terracotta
mm.
found
Pulses.
when
Yes,
he was in
yes,
schools.
yes,
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 yes.
yes.
Later, he was telling that Ivan Swang, who is a Chinese traveler, we are
Mm,
seeing on the screen. So Ivan
mm, mm,
Swang visited that village, and there were a lot of Buddhist temples and monasteries also, and Jain
true,
temples also there. It's a
true, true.
Vadnagar is a
Even
so
this
it's
Vadnagar.
quite natural that a great leader has born in a great city, in fact, great town. Historic
So,
town
yeah,
with some going back to some 800 BC. Is it 2800 years old?
true, true,
A town. Please tell me.
true.
Yeah, you carry on.
No, so I was talking about Vadnagar. So Vadnagar is like a mound, and there are various layers, as it was pictographically shared in the
Oh,
background when Modi ji was talking about it. So when you dig
mhm,
up,
mhm,
the houses which are
mhm,
there are on and
mhm,
Vadnagar, irrespective of any kind of rainfall, it would never ever get
mhm.
flooded because it is at a very high raised platform.
Oh,
So every time new
great.
civilization, new habitation happened, a new thing was
Mm,
constructed above, above, above. So when you start digging,
mm.
they say there are so many layers beneath each and every house there in Vadnagar. That is number one.
Oh,
Number two, Nagarajan Anna, you mentioned about
uh,
in the initial thing about the Indian journalist. This is the second podcast. The first
yes.
podcast
Oh,
that he did was with Mr. Nikhil, the young,
Nikhil. Yes,
this
yes.
Nikhil. Yeah.
I have seen that.
So,
That also. Oh,
yeah,
yes.
so this is his
I think
second
he's from
podcast.
Karnataka. Yes, sir. He's
True, true.
from Karnataka or
Kamath,
somewhere south.
Nikhil Kamath. Yeah.
Mm,
So
yeah,
this is his second podcast, and I think when we both, me and my wife, Captain Meera, when we both were listening to it, there were moments of goosebumps. The way he was talking
right.
in a very spiritual, at a very spiritual core. This
Yes,
was
yes,
not,
yes.
a normal interaction between two individuals. It felt at various moments, which we will dwell into as we progress, that he was talking like a spiritual guru, talking
Yes,
about fasting, the
undoubtedly,
benefit
undoubtedly,
of
undoubtedly.
fasting, and even when he was instigated to talk on India-China relations or India-Pakistan relations, he was talking more like Super Sadguru kind of a personality. And it is very interesting that as of now, this interaction has had, as we are talking and as we are recording this video, almost 2.5 million views in just a span of few hours, maybe 36 hours now. So 2.5 million views, and it is simultaneously being broadcasted in India, in obviously in Hindi, English, and Russian as well. So why Russian language? Yeah, this is dubbed in Russian language as well. And as you said in the beginning, the language, the original language of Lex Fridman, he was born in USSR, 1981. At that time, it was not Tajikistan. I think 1983. Now it is very interesting. He was born on 15th of August, 1983. 15th
Yes,
of
yes,
August.
1983. Yes, August.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. That is
At that time,
that's also a very interesting thing.
yeah, at that time it was USSR. It was not Tajikistan. When in 1991 USSR disintegrated, his father moved from Moscow to US. So that's when the family migrated. And as rightly said by you, Jewish, he's a Russian Jew, and that's his antecedents, or that's his origin.
Background, yes.
Yeah,
I understand.
background. Yes.
So actually, Modiji is actually very beautifully summarized his actually childhood, and it was very fascinating, and how it went very smoothly from as a school student, how he used to, he did not have not even a shoe, his uncle gave him a white shoe, and how he used to, what do you call that, polish that with the chalk piece, pieces of chalk piece brought from the school, and how his relationship with the sadhu who came and stayed in their village, that was very interesting. And he in fact gave a go by to a family marriage of his mama's house, and worked for the, actually helped the sadhu. It was from the in Tamil, there is a proverb called "Vilayum payir mulayile theriyum." जो पौधा जो उगता है, हाँ,
राइट,
वो स्प्राउट, जो स्प्राउट होता है तभी मालूम हो जाता है आपको जो पौधे कैसे होने वाले हैं. ये इतना बड़ा पौधा, इतना जो हिंदुस्तान को, that actually the plant which sprouts, that itself one will come to know that this plant is going to be whatever.
And Nagarajan ji in Gujarati, there is a saying which says, "More na inda chitarwa na pade." What does it mean? That the eggs of peacock or peahen, you don't need to draw or create. It's when the egg is seen, it is always colorful. So the saying is, "More na inda chitarwa na pade." And yeah,
great,
so very
great.
Since his childhood, he had I would say, some kind of supernatural or some kind of Davic blessings, if I may use the words.
Yes, and undoubtedly. I have only one difference with Modiji, because Modiji said during the election that I had always the feeling that, but others should say, actually, the person himself, if they actually people ridicule, that's you leave that. So, and the second thing is actually his experience as a boy working in his father's shop, and how he described his father, who he used to go out early in the morning to his shop, tea shop. So everyone used to, because in Tamil Nadu we have got a company called, the old company called TVS, which is who are making sir and all. Earlier they used to run buses here. Before actually 60s, actually the buses got nationalized. Otherwise private buses were playing. People used to actually fix their time by seeing the TVS bus coming. They will come on time, dot. Like that, his father, by actually seeing Damodar Das Modi, they used to actually check the correct their time, in fact. And another thing is actually his mother's as a home remedies. She used to help the people
Hirabai.
outside and people will Hirabai. Hirabanji, such a wonderful family with all poverty, with a small house, but a lofty thinking. And he was actually and going out and seeing people. And in the early age itself, actually, he used to have a fascination for the Himalayas. That is the so he wanted to go out, and he went to Himalayas and met people. And afterwards, actually, he got attracted towards Ramakrishna Mutt, and he used to read about Swami Vivekananda and Ramakrishna, and the incident was very interesting. Ramakrishna, in fact, used to say when Vivekananda was suffering, his family was suffering after his father's death, he used to go and say to Gurudev, but Gurudev always asks, go and stand before Kali and ask whatever you want.
True.
Kali Ma. So he could not ask anything.
Right.
This is the picture with his guru.
Yes. Yeah. And there he said, a very emotional moments wherein he said he wanted the guru to spend some time with him in the PM's house, PM's residence, though he had visited him while he was a chief minister. But before
exactly.
He had his samadhi and could not spend time. But very interesting and very motivating interaction. I think anyone listening to that interview, anyone into a very adverse conditions of life, I'm sure would be highly motivated by that. That if a person known as Narendra Damodar Das Modi can do it, he or she can also do it. I'm sure anyone watching this, the video or the interaction or the podcast in the remotest part of the country, in any of the languages, because now it will be translated into all vernacular languages as well. So various aspects of life that he had narrated, whether it is starting about the fasting concept, the concept behind fasting, to how he rose, about his education, as you mentioned about his childhood days, to very positivity in each and every aspect of his life. This reminds me of and his style of sharing also. He said the quality of a good journalist. So he did not say that these are the qualities of good journalist. He created an analogy. So he said there are two kind of things. One is a fly, house fly, and the other one is a honeybee. And again, he narrated that in London, and he said, "What does a housefly would do?" Housefly.
That time I doing Gujarati magazines, some function in London. That was got misinterpreted. He said,
"Yes, but his style of sharing or using anecdotes, and I'm sure you as Pracharak would agree to this. That I think all Pracharaks have this innate style of communicating the ideas in a very easy manner, using various anecdotes, using various examples.
The thing is, actually, it is not textbook like. It is they have learned from the lives of their leaders, their what do you call the mentors, and many people. Because next he was actually in a very. This is first time actually I have heard about him. I have heard talking him about RSS and its organization. So his association with RSS and actually his this is about then it's Seva Bharati, how the Seva Bharati people. They are doing.
He quoted with all the figures and everything, whether it is Ekal Vidyalaya, efforts of Ekal Vidyalaya, how contributions of our friends, well-wishers across our brothers and sisters across the borders, how they are contributing little bit of during the
that was very interesting. Very interesting, actually. Our Lal Bahadur Shastri used to say that he started skipping one meal or one dinner a day, one dinner a week, just to like in people who are living in America, for the sake of the downtrodden in India, they are skipping a smaller thing. one Coca-Cola a month or one Coca-Cola a week, a soft drink a week, $1 they could able to send to Ekal Vidyalaya. I have known 70,000 Ekal Vidyalaya, one
True.
lakh 75,000 the Seva Kalpa by Seva Bharati. These are all
Amazing works.
but
Amazing.
what the journalist and they paint a very what do you call that a black picture about the RSS and its organization.
But that's
And
where,
Modiji has rightly put.
that's where all this while there's a very famous saying that the Bharatiya Janata Party or RSS has failed in perception building or has not been successful in perception building, and the other other part of the ecosystem, they have mastered the art of deception. Now, they have mastered the art of deception, and somehow we have failed in perception building. So we need to build the right perception, and then only it's not something negative. It's what is existing. We need to portray. We need to communicate. And I think your podcast is one such medium, and this current rendezvous that we are having is one such medium, wherein globally people at least will get to, or those who are watching the podcast of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji with Fridman, they would have really understood what exactly is Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. And he so beautifully even explained the situation of Gujarat in 2002 also. Very nicely, very systematically, perfectly he has narrated that.
We will come to that later. Now, actually, he described about RSS work in the labor field, in all the other field also. This is about the BMS people, which is the largest labor union, Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh. And he put it very nicely. Like the communists used to say, the workers of the world unite. Here BMS said that workers unite the world. So this is one word here and there. आगे पीछे वो उसका अर्थ तो बदल जाता है. That gives a very deep meaning, and that is a wonderful thing. He has put it very nicely. In fact,
very true, very true, very true.
So, and when he was asked about this, what do you call that, Gujarat, the riots, he actually, what do you call, narrated the whole background in which this has happened. He talked about the Kandahar hijack of Indian Air India flight, Indian Airlines flight, and
December 1999. Kandahar flight hijack happened in December 1999.
Hijack, yes. So then it happens the tower attack in US. So this has actually, and 11th October. So this has in fact vitiated in such a backdrop the burning of the Godhra train happens. This is the background in which it has happened. We don't want, what he said was actually nobody wants the riots. Nobody, actually, it is not going to benefit anybody. But in such a background, it has happened. And he went back to 2-3 decades back, and how the, what do you call, the Gujarat used to have tens of hundreds of riots in the past 3 decades. And Ahmedabad itself, 69, there was a big riot.
Yes.
Tell me.
So 1969 riots, which went on for 6 months. 1969.
Yes.
And you're right. I mean, he narrated how, it was all building up within, or it was simmering up within the society. And whether it was the Kandahar hijack, December 1999, then 9 September that, and then Parliament attack, Jammu Kashmir Assembly attack. And in this kind of situation, he narrated that how 27th February, the innocent car sevaks, what was their fault? Innocent kids, innocent women, children, they were burnt alive. Now, how would a society react to it when they
he got elected in 24th February?
24th February, he became MLA. He got elected as an MLA. And this happened on 27th of February. So, very eloquently, he had shared exactly what had happened and how it had. But the beauty is, in understanding the entire situation and addressing it in a way, the way Narendra Modi ji did. And he also gave examples or shared that how in the partition, when he was talking about it, that we gave away the land to our Muslim brothers. Now they should have understood that the land is already given to them. So whosoever is left behind should have have ensured to live in a how should I put the word, in a brotherly manner, in a way that already land has been given to them. Now that was beautifully narrated. I'll not be able to share verbatim what he said, but what he said was in such a beautiful manner, to a very high level of spiritual, wherein he's saying that this is the era of peace. This is not the era of conflict. We need to work upon resolution. We need to work upon vikas. That's what he said. It is not vinash ki rajniti, it is vikas ki rajniti. So whether it is talking about Pakistan,
Yes.
whether it's talking about China, whether it is talking about Ukraine, and at the same time, what he's meaning hereby is that for everyone in the society, even he mentioned about the Muslims here, that the reason for you is to prosper here, progress here, work along and progress.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly, that is the spirit. So he actually this, and he's actually he's about this. The high courts, lower courts, and Supreme Court have all gone in depth into it, and
Mm,
Supreme Court has given a clean chit. The
mm,
local
mm,
courts also, and the people who were found guilty in that, they were
mm,
all punished. In fact,
mm,
so
mm,
now SIT chief Raghavan, who
mm,
actually grilled
mm,
Narendra Modi for hours when he
mm,
was the chief minister. Then,
mm,
after all these interrogations and the findings and the what do you call that, the case has been gone, and all the courts have acquitted him. Even
mm,
after that, actually, there are some agenda peddling
mm,
journalists and activists. They are
mm,
saying that, but doesn't matter. People are
mm,
with now Narendra Modi. So
mm.
how he has told about the Navaratri and his what do you call that, the kind of fasting. This is a revelation to me.
Yeah,
When he said that for four months from 9 June to November, this Chaturmasya, I take
yeah,
only one meal a day, because
yeah,
Navratri 9 days actually he never takes, and he takes only water and lemon juice, something like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
So this is a revelation to me, in fact. So
yeah.
such
No,
a, and
Anna, before we shift on to that, can I add one thing which the previous topic that we were talking about? So when
please, please.
Friedman asked about criticism, and he said criticism doesn't shake me, and then he goes on to share that how he welcomes positive criticism, but at the
Yes,
same time he
it is.
also narrated that
It
there
it
was a
is.
systematic attempt to spread falsehood, right?
Some
But
is the soul
ultimately
of
this success.
democracy.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, 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 yeah. True,
He
true,
said
true.
that. It is his words.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, Anna. So you were talking about
Yes,
the fasting part of it.
yes, yes. You can elaborate on it. So fasting is actually, he says actually, when his experience with the Obama, when he went to first time US, that time the dinner was arranged, banquet was, and the prime minister is not going to take anything, only hot water.
Yeah,
It came in a jug.
yeah,
That is my dinner. That's it.
yeah.
These are all.
Um,
And the people,
no, but
tell me.
when he got to know that Friedman had also fasted, and I think there's
Yes.
one thing which he shared, that fasting is a scientific process. It is not
Yes.
merely a ritual.
Exactly.
And somewhere, as the world now is
Exactly.
aware of it,
Exactly.
I think a few years back, a Japanese biologist who got the Nobel
Uh,
Prize in medicine, And what was his discovery? His discovery was that how intermittent fasting rejuvenates our body cells, and how intermittent fasting is good for our detoxification, and how it
Yes,
rejuvenates
yes.
or builds our dead cells. So somewhere when he narrated this, and whosoever the audience when it watches it and realizes that fasting, more than being a part of Sanatan Dharma, is a scientific process. And he also said that,
Yes,
I do it in a scientific manner. It is not just that the one fine day
yes.
you start fasting. And at the same time, in one such occasion, he said that Supreme Court of India said that Sanatan Dharma is way of living. It's a way of life.
Ah,
It-
ah.
It's
Yes, yes,
it's not
exactly.
a religion. The dharma is way of living. जीवन जीने की एक प्रक्रिया है. So he also shared about that, and hereby I think this entire interactions, or which some people are creating about the differences between Hinduism and Hindutva. So I think what he was wanting to talk about, that how Hindutva, the word here is tattva. So Hindu essence is the tattva, as we say. What is your vyaktitva?
Ah.
So Vyakti ka tattva.
Yes,
Tattva
yes.
is the kernel, the entire extract of the person is Vyaktitva.
Yes.
Matritva is mother's essence, is Matritva. So Hindutva is the essence of Hinduism, or Sanatan would be
Yeah.
Hindutva. And Islam, interestingly, I think I'll take this 10
That
seconds.
actually that
And,
has been endorsed by the Supreme Court. The
yes,
J.S.
and
Verma judgment that has been
Nagarajan,
established.
in how, why
Ah,
is it wrong to use the word Hinduism? You never say
mm.
Christianism, you never say
Yes, yes.
Islamism. And
Ah,
why is it
ah,
that you
ah.
say Hinduism? I'd like to just take 10 seconds and share it to your audience. That
Please,
why is
please,
it
please,
wrong
please,
to
please.
use the word Hinduism? Because the word
Ah,
ism is attached to things like, let's say, capitalism or
yes,
cannibalism. So the word
yes.
ism is it. What does it mean? It means a dogma, a belief, a
Dogma.
false
Yes, yes.
belief, right? So
Ah,
Hinduism or Hindutva is not a dogma. It is not a false
ah.
belief, right? So it is
Certainly,
wrong. And
certainly.
those audience, those who are watching it, your viewers, please never use the word Hinduism. Instead, use the word Hindutva.
Yes,
We little bit went astray,
yes,
Nagarajan, but I thought I'll take this opportunity and talk about this with your audience as well.
yes, yes. Sure, sure. So actually, he again actually talked about Bhagwan Gautam Buddha and Mahatma Gandhi. We are from
Right,
the nation of these
right,
great
right,
apostles. So
right,
actually,
right,
how can we never go on aggression. We are
right,
always for samanvaya,
right,
harmony and consensus or conciliation, these kind of things. Actually, we are not for war, we are not
right,
for anything. When we and he
right,
actually tackled the question about Pakistan also, how he invited swearing and how he did, and which was
yeah.
returned with what you call all disappointing things. Uh, you
Even
tell me
even here,
actually this
even here,
what is
even here also, Nagarajan,
mm,
the podcaster Fridman, he tried to
mm,
play a googly. He said
mm,
Mahatma Gandhi was the greatest statesman of 20th century, and just like him,
ah,
you
ah,
are
ah, ah,
one of the greatest statesmen of 21st century.
ah,
So it was a googly,
ah, ah.
and
Yes.
unflinching, without even a second thought, he said no. Mahatma Gandhi was relevant in 20th century, he was relevant in 19th century, he'll be relevant in 21st century and 22nd century also. So he
Yes,
was
yes.
he was trying to Friedman was trying to play a little smart, but he may
Ah.
not have understood that who he interviewing. And so that's what also very very interesting way he tackled.
And he removed from this actually comparing him with Mahatma. He removed that himself
Yes. Yeah.
from
Yes,
that.
yes, 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 yes,
Such a great.
yes, yes, yes.
And Modiji knows
Yeah,
actually. He is definitely a great
yeah,
person. History will judge. History will judge. Uh,
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
about the riots he has talked, and about the what he is his friendship with the Putin, his friendship with Zelensky, how he actually goes and in front of Putin, he has told in a press conference that this is not the age for wars. So that
War. Yeah.
only a man with conviction, with what do you call that, such a kind of conviction, only can say that. And
Very true.
we have forgotten to very which he started with. When I
Mm,
congratulate, when I meet a handshake with anybody in the world, when somebody gives a respect to me, that is not for
mm,
me. That is for the
mm,
140 crore Indians and the great civilization
mm,
which I represent. Incidentally,
mm,
that is the he started
mm,
with this only. In fact, you can
mm,
elaborate on that.
mm. Yeah. So I had said this on various occasions that India stands with peace. We are not neutral, and we stand with peace. And he stressed that how he had a close relationship with Russia and Ukraine. And he said was that I
Hmm.
the Russian President Putin and say it's not the time for war. And I can tell President Zelensky also in a friendly way. He used this word, friendly way, that brother, regardless of how many people, this is very interesting. What he said was that regardless of how many people stand with you in the world, there will never be a resolution on the battlefield. So he told this to Zelensky that you might be feeling that, yeah, there are so many friends of mine. Europe is friend of mine. UK is friend of mine. During the Biden administration, USA was also a friend of mine. But in the battlefield, there will be no resolution. So that's what very interesting conversation that he shared. And he also said that the discussion must include both parties. So very interesting that
Yes.
any kind of disturbances, any kind of war can only be resolved by negotiations. And that's when, even in terms of Pakistan, he said that when he became the prime minister, and he quoted Pranab Mukherjee ji. So he said, and it was
Ah,
mentioned
ah, ah.
in his Pranab Mukherjee's book also, that he decided he's the head of the states. And Pranab Mukherjee, very erudite leader, statesman in his own personality,
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
has mentioned this incidents and everything in his memoirs, in his book as well. He's no more, but his mentions in the book are there. That how efforts or initiatives were taken by Prime Minister Modi in creating an environment of reconciliation. But every time he tried to reconcile, every time he tried to resolve the matters, it was backstabbed by events or acts of terrorism. He even
Yes.
went to Lahore,
Yes.
and
Yes.
despite that, the acts of terrorism every time, and he also said that Pakistan is the epicenter of terrorism around the world. 9/11 happened.
Yes.
Mastermind of 9/11. Where was he found? He
He
was
was
found
found
in
only in. He was found in Pakistan. Yes.
Pakistan. So
Yes.
somewhere very, and even in when he was talking about the India, again, see, the beauty of great leaders is that they look at the positives. They don't look at the confrontation. When he was asked about it,
Yes.
he said, "Well, our friendship, the relationship between India and China, isn't something new. Our nations have ancient cultures and civilizations." So, the trying to find common denominators in the public domain, right?
Yes.
Maybe at the back channels, there are people who are
Yes.
preparing
Yes.
for all kind of situations, but in a public domain, when he's interacting, he's giving such a beautiful, positive, and yeah, the Chinese media took the note of his comments, and Chinese media came out
Yes.
very
Yes.
positively about this mentions.
Mm,
What he shared
mm.
about. And he said that our relationship should remain just as strong in the future as well as it.
Yes. Yes.
And I think
Exactly.
this reminds me how
Exactly.
he noted Xi Jinping when he became in his first term to Ahmedabad, and there were scenes of both President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Modi, in Sankheda furniture on the banks of Sarmati
Yes.
River, enjoying all kind of Gujarati cuisines. So he did
Yes.
make efforts of a good relationship, but unfortunately, Galwan happened.
Galavana. Yes. And he actually traced back that to the
Yes.
historically what happened also. We never had confrontation in the last so many centuries, and even we shared the GDP was shared. 50% of the world GDP was between China.
Yes, yes, yes,
Brought to the
yes.
fore. So
Mm,
there's a,
mm,
yes, the very interesting. And one of the things actually this Fridman has talked about the brought in the Ramanujam, how the Indians even when he
mm,
gets some what do you call solved mathematical problems, that Ramanujam believed always this was given by the local the deity. The
mm,
yes, in Namakkal there is a Namagiri Tayar. Namagiri Tayar is mother.
mm,
Namagiri Tayar is
mm,
a and in Namakkal is an Vaishnava temple, Vishnu's
mm,
consort. Namagiri Tayar.
mm,
Namagiri Tayar used to actually give him the what you call formulas. Many of the
mm,
formulas
mm,
of the Ramanujam, Srinivas Ramanujam is not actually what you the people are working on it. He has actually
mm,
what do you call continuously wrote many formulas, and there are many
mm,
papers which is unsolved papers are with the what do you call Ramanujam Foundation or somewhere it is. Again,
mm.
please actually elaborate on that.
Yeah, so again, somewhere, see, when we talk about Srinivas Ramanujan and what you shared, that the deity used to come to his dreams and share. So the fact of the matter, though we are
Yes,
drifting away, but I'll just take 10 seconds again and talk about it. That Srinivas Ramanujan was so much engrossed in mathematics 24/7. He used to think the various formulas. So in the subliminal level, in his subconscious mind, all permutation, combination, and all mathematical theorems were happening. And in his sleep, this subconscious mind, which is more powerful than the conscious mind. So the subconscious mind is like the iceberg, right? Though, so just like the iceberg, which is
yes,
only 1/10 is visible on the top, the rest 9/10 is under the sea. So our mind is exactly like that. So the subconscious mind, which is the 9/10, which is active in the dreams or in the sleeping time, would give him the formulas. So it was not exactly the deity, or but the definitely the belief in the Sanatan, belief in the deity, belief in the Kovil or Amman temple, wherever he used to go and worship. So he always felt, and this Vishwas, and this was also evident in Prime Minister Narendra Modiji's speech, that he's here for a divine action. And every time, I think the spiritual level wherein he said it is the Almighty which is giving him, he used the word daitva, that this is the daitva which
yes,
is bestowed upon me. And with all humility, he always mentioned that I am a Pradhan Sevak. So
yes,
these
yes,
words speak thousands about his thought process. That
yes,
what happens is the human arrogance that it is me who is doing it, right, gets
yes,
subdued by the fact that no, it is not me, but it is divine who's letting me do it. And this is
yes,
the word daitva is responsibility. It is not so
yes,
the predominance of responsibility over authority. So you're not saying that, well, I am authorized to become something. No, you are responsible to become something. Are you trying to understand what I'm trying to say?
certainly.
And the beautiful
Yes, sir,
words
yes,
that
sir.
is कुछ करने की इच्छा रखो, कुछ बनने की नहीं. कुछ
Yes,
every time he
yes,
said
sir.
why people
This
suffer,
is
most of the time they suffer. They have this grief, they have this mental agony when they don't, when they try to achieve something, they try to become something. And in the
yes,
process,
yes,
if they are not able to do so, if they are not able to become that thing, they would have anxiety, they would have all kind of stress. He said, why try to do something, and in the process, if you're not able to reach let's say level ladder number 9, you will try again, and you'll try again and reach ladder number 10 or 8. What will happen is that there'll be positivity in your personality,
that
and this
this
will
is
give.
his old, very old say, very old saying. You can draw a correlation between what Sri Krishna has said. What Sri
Uh-huh.
Krishna had is actually uh, कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन
Bhalashu
मा
kadachana.
कर्म तो मा कर्म फल हेतुर्भु माते संघ विकर्मणि.
Hmm.
इसमें क्या है, आपको कर्म करने का अधिकार है, फल को मत सोचो, यही है,
Hmm.
ये
Hmm.
ऐसे ही है इसका. ये मोदी जी हमेशा कहते थे ये क्या है, कुछ बनने के मत सोचो, कुछ करने
कुछ
के
करने
सोचो,
का सोच। वाह,
करते करते तुम कुछ बन जाओगे, करते करते तुम कुछ बन जाओगे.
हाँ जी,
Yeah, beautifully he
या,
has put it long back, in fact. So that's a
राइट,
wonderful thing actually you have brought this.
या,
And what he said about other things also, there are very interesting things about how we have to go about doing this. And this is then wonderful. In fact, a 45 minutes analysis is not enough. But we are bound by the what you call constrained by time. Thank you for actually coming on our YouTube and sharing your so I request you that please keep coming on our YouTube and share your thoughts. And I once again thank all the viewers and thank our guest, Siddhartha Dave. Thank you very much,
நன்றி,
Siddhartha. So we will
நன்றி,
meet.
நன்றி, நன்றி,
Nandri, Nandri, Nandri.
நாகராஜன் அண்ணா. Nandri, this is a Tamil word which means thank you. Rumban Nandri, which means thank you very much. And there's another word, how you say in Gujarati, you say avjo. Yeah, that means please come again. And in Tamil, they say poitu varen, we'll meet again.
Poitu varen. Yes. Tamil we never say poren. Poitu varen.
Poitu varen.
That's
Yes,
nice.
yes. So
Very,
like
very,
that, in
very
Gujarati
nice.
also,
Very nice.
Gujarati
We will
also we
meet
say
again. We will
avjo.
meet again
We'll
on
meet again. Yes, yes,
outro.
yes.
Yes, Tiruvavarai, yes.
Right, right,
So
right.
it will be actually Tamil, Gujarati, and English. It's a
Sangam.
wonderful conversation. I
Tamil
would
Gujarati Sangam.
yes, Tamil Gujarati Sangam. Yes, wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.